Hi there. I have another review ready, and get the basics out of the way first. This is my review of my first ever Terry Pratchett book, Weird Sisters, a Discworld novel, as if I need to say that really, which I raced through, and that's great. And I'm going to talk about why it was good to race through and how much fun. I would say my rating for this is going to be I found it very enjoyable, and I think there is a certain kind of reader and a certain sort of reading experience that this lends itself to very well. And if that is for you, it would be a 5 out of 5. I thought it was very enjoyable. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I will probably keep it because it's the sort of thing you want would probably dip into again, I think. And I think it's the sort of thing that creates a kind of warm fuzziness around it, kind of thing, right? So that's all those positives. Feeling very warm about this. Couple of things to say. I won't particularly be giving spoilers. I don't think it's that kind of book, but I'll give you my judgment of the book. Okay, it's a beautiful day here, by the way, and it's incredible. It's nearly mid November, and I shudder to think what it would be like back in the UK right now. So, I'm very very grateful to have the opportunity to be out here, and it is great. I've had a couple of bits of feedback about the videos last few days, all meant kindly and to be supportive. And I must say, if it's not immediately apparent, that I'm not doing this to kind of build up a gigantic following. Oh God, please, I'd love people to follow me and comment and give me feedback and dialogue with me. That would be wonderful. Of course it would be. But some people have said that they find the videos rambling and that they could be a bit more professionally edited and cut and take out all the ums and whatever. And to which I say, I understand that. And if you don't find this way of me doing it attractive or interesting or stimulating, then absolutely this isn't for you. I did look at a few kind of long form video, YouTube video uh, guys before I did this. See, there's a few ums there, right? And I think this kind of a talking head against a nice background, giving you their opinions about a book, and not getting it over in 30 seconds. I think that I don't think I'm particularly out of the mainstream way of doing it on here. The videos that I look at and I enjoy, the channels I look at and enjoy, yes, they're more professionally done. Some of them are in studios with obviously very good kit, very good cameras, very good microphones. I'm not there yet, and I'm not saying I ever will be. To me, this is a bit of fun. I find it very encouraging and stimulating to do. As I keep saying, my project here is to get through this ludicrous pile of books I have with me in Spain. And there's a certain amount of random choice. I open the cupboard door. Sometimes I kind of I flick through a couple. I'm not perfect, right? I'm easily like, oh, don't fancy that right now, kind of thing. But I'll get there, right? My commitment to myself is to do that pile of books, okay? And if there are books in here that sound fun that you'd want to read, or it might be a present for someone, or etc. etc. Okay, right. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I expect that I will kind of get a bit more ambitious. I'm trying to learn about iPhone photography. I'm trying to learn about settings a bit more. I can imagine I think I might buy a selfie stick and see if it might be kind of fun to do one on a walk, which could be cool, right? Or maybe another location. I don't know, right? But okay, that's background of where I am. So, Weird Sisters, good, bad. Um, Almost every there are some sentences that simply carry the plot forward, which is fine, right? There's some dialogue but basically every line is a gag. A bit like going back to Roger McGough and the puns there, and wow, this guy likes puns. And like I said with the Roger McGough book, you know, when you're in the right mood, and I almost normally am, puns and dad jokes and perfect, great, funny, clever, spot on. Okay. There are also a lot of illusions, and you know, you can't. It keeps you on your toes, right? So you've got Macbeth in here, you've got Hamlet in here for sure. I didn't particularly detect. I mean, there's a fool. There's a little bit of maybe a bit of Lear. So this is, and it's the topic is about plays within plays and kings and ghosts, and yes, so that's funny, and you know, interesting and clever, and he makes those illusions really work. At times, it started to get a bit tiresome. And you know, I've not read a lot of Hitchhiker's Guide, and I'm a little bit resistant to that hitchhiker thing. I saw the very good TV adaptation of Hitchhiker's Guide. That's the only one I've got anywhere near. And I listened to some of the BBC Radio 4, but I remember the TV adaptation was very good. And that's probably because, apart from the voiceovers, a lot of this stuff, this kind of authorial, little bit diggy in the ribs, little bit kind of see what I did there, was kind of absent from it. Felt very like that, this book. Now, okay, I also thought that if this was the only kind of fiction you ever read, that would be fine. It rocks along. It's very tightly plotted. It's got drama. It's got excitement. It has a good. I think it's got and I'm not. I don't think this is particularly coloured by telly interviews I've seen with Pratchett, right, and whatever. I mean, I'm obviously aware of him in the culture, aren't I? Right? He's a force for good, right? There's obviously a humanism here. There is, you know, there's some ethics here. There's some all that's kind of that's really good. I do think, and I can imagine that, you know, you could rock along and you could read bang 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 or book after this, and it would be fun and comforting, and it's not stupid. It's not lowbrow. It's, you know, it's there's more to it than that. There is substance here and everything like that. But I felt if this was the only thing you ever read, it would be a bit limiting. And I think you need a little bit more challenge, really. And I think you need a little bit less of the authorial voice. And you know, the guy was a writer. There's some very, I've noticed some very good, kind of long play gags about the cook going potty, and he does make a big thing about that. And then there's a throwaway line a little bit later: the cook's gone potty, and that's all you need. And he's like, "Ah, right, yeah, okay, you know, nice." But I think I want a tiny bit more from fiction than this, really. I would read. I have another from my friend Mark's stash. I've got a couple more Discworld, and I'll read them, and they'll be fun, and I can imagine fondness. But I can see. He said, bristling his goatee. There's definitely you know, a kind of folky, weirdy beardy dude who and girl, you know, sure, who you know, this would be their bread and butter, be absolutely great, and then the danger is they'd start trying to be Terry Pratchett in real life and trying to make the puns and the jokes and the whatever, and it's like, yeah, okay, right, yeah, sure, not all the time, please, not all the time, right? Now, okay, a little bit carping. Great characters, really good and very positive characters, I thought the witches were fantastic. Granny Weatherwax is superb, and what's great about her is she's indomitable. She won't take any mierda. She just powers through, and I love that. That's self confidence and her kind of, you know, her power and her kind of, that was great. And the other witches are really good as well, and the kind of minor characters, but they all kind of, they're nothing really compared to this really powerful central female figure, this female. So that was good. I'd imagine So imagine, a little girl would read this and think, wow, she's so powerful, she's so cool. But then I think a lot of the kind of the dad jokes and the punnery and the intertextuality, for want of a better word, the kind of the constant jokes and allusions, she wouldn't get that because of age, not for any other reason. So, but then if you gave this to a younger girl and you said, right, I wonder what you think of Granny Weatherwax, I think she'd really love it. Okay, so maybe you'd say, fine, doesn't matter about the jokes, as long as she got that power and autonomy and all those kind of cool, girl power words. I think it'd be very positive, right? So my ultimate kind of judgment on this is a lot of fun, a good read, well written. A guy knows what he's doing, cracks along, not boring in any way. Just the kind of eternal dad jokery, Pratchetty, I suppose. Hitchhiker's Guidey thing, Douglas Adams, right? Yeah, there's only so much of that I can take before I want to sort of go off and do something with a little bit different of a tone. That's all, right? But I'd keep it, I'd bequeath it, I'd pass it on to somebody. I think this could be a great. I mean, if there's still people who haven't done the Pratchett, who you think they don't have to have a real little, a little bit weirdy beardy, a little bit velvety jackety, a little bit mandoliny, a little bit real you see where I'm going with this, right? They would. This is crack cocaine to them, right? Okay, so don't deprive them. Okay. Tiny bit of trepidation. I'm going to take on a book that I have been lugging around for a long time, maybe not as long as All the Pretty Horses. I'm going to try a very well regarded, very big classic work of dystopian science fiction. Stand on Zanzibar by John Brunner. And this has been on kind of the corner of my eye, I suppose, since the 1970s. Maybe I sort of got references to it as a young guy, young teenager, kind of reading a lot of science fiction at the time, right? And I also know one of my favourite writers, who have had the absolute privilege of corresponding with, who's a great, great guy, very, very smart guy, hard SF writer called Peter Watts. I know he's a big John Brunner fan, and I think so. I'm interested to see what I can detect that Peter might have taken from Brunner. A bit of trepidation because it is big, and I don't. I think it's going to portray a picture. I think overpopulation is the thing, which I think we're actually sort of not really bothered about as an issue anymore. Another story, and I think depopulation is emerging as a much more convincing dystopian future possibility. A time for another question, time for another debate. So I'm going to wonder if I might get stuck and thinking, right, he's depicting a terrifying, awful world the same way Soylent Green did, which depressed the hell out of me when I read it, but just isn't going to happen. What is Soylent Green? It's a depiction of a third world country. It happens every day, just not in New York City. Okay, maybe it should, maybe it will, but it hasn't so far, right? So I'm going to be wondering if I'm thinking, yeah, this didn't happen, mate, and this isn't going to happen, and so this is just a story. Okay. Another thing I might be thinking is, I know, see, I've never read John Dos Passos, but I know who John Dos Passos was, and I've read other books influenced by John Dos Passos. Famously, The Naked and the Dead, which takes a lot of Dos Passos kind of techniques. It's the cut-up technique. It's the kind of multimedia in print. It's kind of the news reports and this kind of text, which I guess to some extent Michael Crichton does. Okay, so I've seen. I guess people have taken John Dos Passos's ideas and put them into their books. So I know there's a lot of that in here. But I wanted something substantial. I wanted something a little bit of a challenge. No shade on Weird Sisters here, but I think I wanted something a different pace and a different kind of register, and I think I'm going to have that. And I hope it's immersive. rest of it now. It could defeat me. I think it's going to be a few days. It might be a week or more, kind of thing. Let's see, right? In the interim, I think my next actual video might be. I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish reading with my English as a second language student, Stuart Little. I think probably next lesson or very shortly after, and that might be my next video. But that's going to be my next attempt. So I'm going to watch a bit of Autumn Nations now. Adore the kitten, who always needs being adored. I'm going to encourage you to do some drink some water, do some activity, eat healthily, as I'm trying to do, as I am doing. And good luck on that TBRP. Hope I'm inspiring you to crack on with it. Okay, cheers then, Kate. See you later. Bye.